seated. If you have your toys with you, I'd love to have them. The ball or a block, something that you can utilize for support. Okay, so we're going to sit nice and tall. And I'm going to, as you see, I keep putting my fist down and lifting my tush up and then dropping it because I'm trying to get right onto the sits bones, keeping my knees nice and straight, my legs long, my feet flexed. I have a dorsiflex going on. So if you can move yourself that way gently, that's a good thing. You'll feel like you're opening up around the joints. Okay, so now relax your back, hands behind you just to support you, and let's point and flex our feet. Now we're going to take the legs apart and point and flex opposites. So together, point the left, flex. Let's keep going. Now, keeping the legs up, you're going to circle through the ankle. Now, while you're up here on the tushy, try to lengthen your back. So I don't want you to lean into this rounded. I want you to lift your torso. Your ribs are coming out towards the front. You can feel more your sits bones. Now reverse this. Okay, so now we're going to bring the feet together. You're going to rock side to side. Feel yourself. And then as you rock side to side, you're going to wiggle your tushy. See how it's traveling forward towards my feet? That's what you're going to try to do. And as you come forward more and more, you can feel inner thighs, hands on the ankle space. So I'm going to keep my sits bones down. I'm not rounded here. I'm straight. And I'm going to hinge into this. Come out. And exhale, hinge in. One more. And come out. Okay. Now move your body back again. Your legs are long. So just to give us a little bit of release through the oblique space, I'm going to encourage you to keeping the left hand down on, I'm going to use the right since you can see. So I'll start with my right hand down. And I'm going to take my hand and I'm going to sweep it across my toes. And as I do that, I'm going to lean towards that right side of my body and just reach. Then I'm going to drop my tushy down, sits bones. I'm going to sweep across and I'm going to reach. I'm just trying to get you to open up your hips a little bit. Through the waistline, you get really tight there. I know I do. Keep going. And release it. Okay. Now I'm going to have you lie flat. Trying to find my ball. Here it is. Okay. So we're going to lie flat. Your head is rested on something if you want to. If you find that you don't need to, then hey, you can just keep your head flat. We're going to keep the legs nice and long and the arms are long beside you. You're going to extend. So here's the length through the torso, okay? So you feel that, let's feel more of the side of the body right now. We really concentrate on our back and our front, but I want you to really think about the side of your body, okay? So if my arms are long beside me, I'm going to crawl my fingers down, which drops my shoulders, which slides my scapula, okay? And then I'm going to think about my back. And I'm going to really push my lower back down, my waistline, my middle back, and then my upper back. Now, if you find that you start to get crampy here, which sometimes has happened, bend your knees. But if you can keep them straight, let's keep them straight for a second. Now, pulling the rectus abdominis right above the pubic bone in deep. Feel those hips forward. You're going to take a deep inhale, arms over, exhale, arms beside you. Inhale and exhale. Good. Keep doing that. Inhale and exhale. Inhale, exhale. Okay, now inhale with the arms over. Now, if you have a shoulder impingement, we've spoken about this before. You do not have to move your arms overhead, okay? Because it's taking you into a space that's creates some fear for you, which right away tells you it's a 4-letter word, and that's not a good place to go to. So you're going to keep your fingers up to the ceiling, but pull your shoulder girdle down, okay? Now let's bring our knees up in tabletop. Now, with my arms up towards the ceiling, I'm going to extend my right leg out on that 45-degree angle. Then I'm going to pull it back in, drop my arms. Lift the arms, pull the knee back in. So this is a single bent knee stretch. Now I like to take my arms all the way up and over and lengthen through my torso. You go to where you're comfortable. One more on the right, and then one more on the left. Good. Okay, feet are flat, palms are down. Part of the body, okay? So we have our feet flat, knees bent, lower back, you're gonna pull it down and let it snug, like it's kissing that mat. And that means the tailbone is lifting. You have a pelvic tilt going on there, okay? Pulling the belly in. Feel how your whole spine is nice and long. Take the right leg over the left knee. There you go. So you're going to take the left knee towards the right side. So as you draw this down, keep your foot flat to the floor. As you're stretching through the hip, you're also stretching the IT band. The IT band inserts into the hip or into the knee space and up and attaches towards the hip. Inhale, exhale, center. Good. Okay, other side. Cross this over. Inhale, exhale, slowly. Feel it moving in space. Remember, you're always in control of the movement. Inhale and exhale, center. Very good. Okay. So now we're going to start with leg circles this time. So both feet are flat, knees are bent. You're going to lift your right foot up to the ceiling and we're going to point and flex. So while you're up there towards the ceiling, you're going to notice the higher up your leg comes, your knee might start to bend, right? So your job is to straighten the knee first and stop where that straight knee is. That's the beginning of your movement and the end of your movement. So with the flexed foot, let's lower, point the toe and raise it. Flex the foot, lower. I like to start this way because it gives you the opportunity to understand that when you lift your leg up, your joints want to be straight and strong, because then the whole point is the connective tissue, keeping it agile. And when you keep the joints straight with the movement of the contraction of the muscles, you're strengthening as well as stretching. Leg up and bring it down, bend the knee. Good. So let's reevaluate your back again. So your tailbone, you can feel the tailbone to the floor. So we're going to pelvic tilt where we're rolling the back and the lower back's tighter, middle back, waistline, upper back. Okay, so we're just going over our posture here. The other side, so we're lifting that foot up to the ceiling. Once again, look at that knee. If it starts to bend, you want to stop at that straight leg. Let's point and flex. It always opens up connective tissue behind the knee, which is so cool. So now flexing the foot lower, point the toe and raise it. Use your breath. Inhale, exhale. My back is real strong and my abdominals are very tight, contracted, I should say. You're not going to feel this leg as much in space. Now bend the knee. Good. Okay, so we're going to go back to what we call a single Betany stretch, but we're going to add to it. Okay, so both legs up in tabletop. We're going to nod and bow. So you're lifting your head off of that position on the ball. So I'm going to extend both arms up, point the toe, pull the leg back. Left, pull it back. So I have like a boat pose where I'm in that curve here. One more each side. Head weight down, feet are flat. So I'm sure that your spine changed because it does that when we feel the contraction as well as with the head lifted. If you find that it's uncomfortable to your neck, don't lift your head, okay? Keep your head weight down. I just like to add that to get some upper rectus abdominis work, and also for those of us who are seasoned and really good and they need more hard work. So you know who you are. You should be able to go into a Pilates class. It's a good Pilates class if you can walk in there and you can get the same good workout as the person who has been there forever, okay? So don't ever think that beginners can't be just as good as seasoned people, okay? Nobody's an expert. All right, so we're lifting up onto that with the tabletop position again. We're going to do double legs. So I'm going to keep my head down this time. I'm going to bring my arms over. Both legs are going on that 45-degree. And now let's lift it a little bit where your toes look like they're pointing towards the upper part of the wall. Pull it back in. Pull it back in. One more. Pull it in. Oh. Now you got your knees up towards your rib space. Boy, that feels good. It's opening up your lower lumbar. It's also opening up more of the lower middle back. You feel how it's spreading. So let's spread it even more. Let's open the knees. Feels really good on your lower back. Now, taking your feet up, if you want to do a happy baby, you can go for this. That feels really good. If you need to modify, you can always hold on to the legs. You don't have to be holding on to the feet. I know a lot of happy babies that don't hold on to their feet. So you're going to hold this stretch. Now, the wider the leg, the wider and flatter the lower back and middle back are getting. Good. Bring the knees together. Okay, so we're going to roll ourselves up if you can. So here's what our roll is going to look like. But for those of you with osteoporosis, you are not going to roll, okay? So we're going to lift the chin in. My hands are behind my knees or in front of my tibia and fibula, okay? So we're going to roll a little bit. So just roll and roll and roll till you come up to the top. Good. Okay, so here we are. Getting a little warm. So you're seated very tall. You have your ball. We're going to do some spine stretching forward. The first thing I want you to try to do is to do it without any ball. I want you to try to do the motion in space. So you're nice and long. If you find that you can't get long, you need to bend the knees, go for it. Okay, this is your Pilates. So arms are out, you're going to plug those arms in. You're going to lift the spine. Nose is forward. Inhale. So when I nod and bow, I'm keeping my sits bones and pubic bone rooted. I'm reaching my arms. I'm not going flex. I'm not flexing here. Okay. I'm rounding out the back. We call that a C curve. Come up, stack your vertebra, drop your shoulders. Inhale. So if you're doing this properly, first of all, you're going to notice that your spine stretch isn't deep. It's not going far, shall we say. Because the spine stretching from top to bottom can't move like that. Keep going. Come up and release. Okay. So if my hips are staying back, my abdominals are pulled in, and I'm curving the back into that C curve, right? Then I am working both forward, the front and back of my body, which is so cool with a spine stretch. Okay, so while we're here, let's open the legs, and we're just going to twist a little and twist a little. Keep twisting. Get a little cracks, whatever you want to call them. Inhale, exhale, keep going. Okay, so now we're going to take the ball, we're going to place it right into the belly space. Legs are still wide. You're going to hold on to this, okay? This becomes your new best friend. Now, if I were to let my lumbar curve, this is what I would look like. If that curves, I still want to keep my upper body straight. So let's work just this space here, okay? We're going to come up. Inhale, exhale, flex it. Inhale, exhale, flex it. You feel that? So you're separating. When we talk about flexing or extending the spine, we always have a tendency to lump it all together, but truly there's three parts to it, three parts of the spine that move differently. They all move together, but we can move them differently to keep them strong together. Bring it up. So my spine is real tall here. If you need to bend, feel free to do that. You're going to spine stretch forward this way and come up. So this ball becomes that barrier for you, that you're lifting your rib over and keeping your hips back. So it's helping you to create that C curve to your back. Shoulders stay down. Inhale, exhale. One more. And release it. Okay. So now we're going to bring out of the archives some other things we haven't done for a while. One of them is called the can-can. So your hands are going to be behind you. If you need to bend into the elbow, feel free to do that. You're going to bring your legs up, okay? So you're lifting the legs off. So see how I'm bending into my elbows? you can keep them close, you can move them back more. So moving them back more, you'll see, helps to lift the ribs and chest, okay? So you're here, you're gonna keep your knees together, you're gonna move to one side, you're gonna extend the legs out, pull them back in, roll across, and extend. So when your arms are back farther, you have a tendency to keep a straighter back. Inhale. So there's many ways to do the can-can, which is very fun. Especially when you do it some fun music. Bring it back and sit tall. Okay. So that can-can can also be done with one leg extended at a time, which is kind of fun. So let's try it. Okay, hands back. So you're rolling back, you're lifted. So if I roll to one side, my top leg kicks out, pulls in, roll across. That's what I always want to say. And we're up. So you're going to sit tall. Good. Okay. So you're sitting tall, legs are together or crossed here. So let's stretch out through the obliques. So hands are down. Lift the right arm up. Slide that left arm down. Stretch, stretch, stretch. Come up to the other side. Slide it away from you. So you want to lift with length. I always like to use the imagery of the crown of your head and the roof of your mouth constantly are lifting up, but they're really just lifting long. Okay, so whether it's long here or long over here. And again. Okay, so now you're straight again. We're going to get that ball. We're going to place it behind us. So the sticky part of your mat and the ball or the pillow or the block, whatever you're using, it can kind of keep this here. If not, you can always move it back in. So see how my shoulders are plugging back? I don't want to be here. I want to be here. Chest is lifted, heart is lifted, spine is stacked. So inhale, I'm going to roll my lower back onto the ball. I'm going to roll it, stay long. Inhale. As I exhale, I'm keeping my shoulders down. I'm lifting with a straight back, and then I'm spine stretching forward. Resist through the belly. Okay. Your hips are pushing back. Come up straight, and then back again. Feels so good on your spine. It's waking it up. So where's the best place to go? Well, I always say that there's a healthy edge to a movement. If you are going to a place that you feel like you can't hold on any longer, then that's not a healthy edge. That means you're going too deep or too long or it's just too much of maybe of a range of motion for you. So you have to be the director of your own musical here, okay? You are making sure that when you move, you're moving at a place where you're going to, where it's a little uncomfortable, but I like to call it the healthy edge. And reach. Okay, shake it out, good. Okay, so now we're gonna lay onto our tummies. Bring your ball with you. So I like to plank with the ball. We've talked about this and done this many times in the past. It's just a place to go to where literally talk about the healthy edge. It gives you support, okay? So if your elbows are like mine, you're already in that lifted position of the chest, okay? So you have an extension already happening here, which is good. Sometimes it's hard to get into this place, okay? So we're gonna hold that for a minute, but we're never forgetting about our legs and feet. Legs are strong. You're gonna extend them completely. You're gonna contract the muscle in the leg. So point the toe or flex it, point it. I think that's a better place. So holding that there, now take the ball and bring it right to below the belly button and above the pubic bone. Keep those elbows down. So I'm going to tuck my toes under, and when I'm there, right as I'm staying here, I'm already planking, which feels really good. Now we're going to take it deeper and stronger. So when you lift with a plank, you never want to collapse into your shoulder girdle. So leave your head long, spine lengthen, lift the hip, and take it down. And lift the hip, and take it down. Inhale up. And inhale up. Keep going. As soon as I start to feel my scapula move forward up my back, I know that I'm not in good position. All right, so drop your knees and stay here a minute, because you always want to regroup, get your proper alignment going on here. So we're going to take it a little bit deeper. We're going to lift again. Knees come up off the mat. Now, as we lift the hips off, you're going to lift one foot off, bring it back down, drop your hips to the ball, and lift the other toe up, down, and back to the ball. Lift, left foot up. Now watch your shoulders. It's getting a little bit harder here. Try one more each side. Lift, left leg up, keep length to the spine. One more to the side, lift, and down. Okay, drop those knees, and then flatten out the foot. Okay, so you're in this position of an extension. Now, take your hands to the mat. If you lift here and this is uncomfortable to your lower lumbar, then you're not going here. But if you lift here and you find that it's okay for the front of the ribs and your back, then it's okay for you to lift and lower here, okay? So lift and lower. Always modifications. And if I was in the room with you, I would be able to see you and identify for you to help you. Now move it out, the ball comes out, so your belly's down. So I'm going to extend my spine basically, because my ribs are to the mat. My spine is straight, my arms are long. Okay, first things first, the nose is levitating off the mat. Open your legs as wide as your mat. Bend that right leg up, but keep the left leg long. So hold that there, not with your hand, just with your body weight. Hold that knee bent. Inhale, release it with the exhale. Let's bring the left leg up and release it. And again, and release it. Keep going. So we can do a spinal extension and incorporate this movement into it. So let's try that. So your arms are to the side of your body, bending just the right leg in. As you extend the body, you're sliding and lifting and bringing it down. Bend the left leg, extend. So the extension is coming, the muscle contraction. I know you can feel it. You can feel the back. You can feel the shoulder girdle. Well, you can feel the pecs, middle back, your lats, your traps. But if you start to feel it in your lower back, there's a compression going on there. That's not a good thing. So that might mean one thing is happening, and that could be you're not pulling your abdominals in tight enough, or you're coming up too high. And release it. Okay, so the nose is levitating again off the floor. So we're going to take the hands and rest them on the lower back. So if this is uncomfortable for you, long, bend your elbows. Okay, you can do that. So the elbows are wide. You just don't want to let them drop like this. Okay, that's pulling on your neck. Not a good place to be. So now this time we're going to pull our legs together, tight, protecting more of the pubic bone here. Chest is onto the mat. So you are going to then slide your arms down your back, lifting your torso, upper spinal extension, and release. Same basic movement you were doing before. Head floats with the neck. You're not looking up. It's in alignment with your spine. I enjoy inhaling as I lift. It's not a hard, fast rule you can do what floats your boat. Just breathe. One more. And release it. Okay. So we're going to do some neck stretches and head movements here. So I'd like you to take your head and rest the right ear down to the mat. Okay, so you're here. I'm going to keep my head so that I can lift and move to you. The next thing you're going to do is you're going to take a deep breath in. As you exhale, lift the head, neck, shoulders. You're going to turn that head and you're going to drop to that left ear. Inhale, lift, and turn. I can't lay on my earbuds, I'll lose them. Each time you turn, feel a deeper turn to the neck. Go a little bit more into that space of the side of your head so that you really feel your neck stretching. One more each side. And then come center. Good. Okay, once again, we're levitating. We're going to take those legs wide again. So we're bending those knees. Okay, I love this one. This is like one of the, I want to say, best ways to stretch out the hamstring as well as the quadriceps, which is supporting your knee. You know, that knee is the best thing in the world. You have to be very good to your knees. They will last a long time if you take care of them. This is one of the ways we can keep that connective tissue nice and strong. So I'm bent in. I'm going to extend both legs down. Let's try this. We're going to bend both knees. Now we're going to hold. So if you find that you can hold on, great. If not, you take your circle over your leg, over your foot, and use that, or a towel around the ankle space and hold on like that. Okay. So I'm here. I'm going to lift my head, neck, shoulders, chest, and then I'm going to release my belly down. Now, I'm not going high at all. I'm literally maybe lifting to the top of my xiphoid process and then releasing down. I'm not even lifting my ribs off the floor. I don't need to. I'm getting a great extension. And again. And release, legs down. Okay. So your hands outside your body. Let's get those legs long. You're going to lift yourself up and we're going to sit nice and long. So let's do some sort of rotation. Real important. So we're from here, we're lifting here. Legs are wide as your mat. Now, when I come forward, I can really feel the bony tissue moving flat. That's also my pubic bone is also. So they're both down like this. They're rooting. They're keeping me long. So I'm in this position. We're going to take our arms, go into the saw. Shoulders are back. We're going to rotate. I'm turning towards my left side. Left arm is back. You're not up here. Back is straight. Right hand is outside of that foot. But when I lean into it, I'm not dropping into a flexion this way. I'm leaning into this leg, and I'm then going to saw, keeping my ribs and my chest lifted. Come up, turn, reach, 2, 3, come out of it. Now, if you have any kind of piriformis or hip issues or hamstring, this is really good for you. You can feel little tiny stretches going up and down through this whole space here. I could give you those muscle groups, but why confuse you? You can feel it. That's the best part. And release it. Great. Shake it out, shake it out, shake it out. Okay. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to take the right leg in to the inside of the leg. Okay. So we're taking it in. The left leg is going to be straight. So here's where you are. Keep turning. Just confusing you, right? So this is where you are. So this knee is bent. The foot is to the inside of that right leg or the left leg, whichever leg you're working. But this leg is going to be completely straight. What I mean is I don't want it rolling out. So I don't want your heel to roll and your toes to go outside. Keep your leg, the back of that leg, really snug to this mat. Okay, so you're in this position. This knee is, the goal here is to work to get this knee to drop. Okay, if you're here right now, there's no shame here. Okay, don't go there. Your goal is to move it here. That's going to happen when the connective tissue, the fascia, all that opens up. Takes time. Okay, be good to yourself. So you're going to lift your back. You're going to walk your fingers, and you're looking right at your foot, your flexed foot. So while it's flexed, you're walking your hands outside of that leg. Right away, you're feeling stretch all the way up through the lower lumbar, through the hip flexor, into some of the piriformis, up the middle back, hamstrings. This is a good stretch. Now, while we're here, let's point the toe and walk a little deeper. A little deeper might be one tiny little milli movement there.
You're at 11-12, Sheila.
Thank you. So other leg. So extend it long. Take the right foot to the inside of that left leg. Don't let the leg turn out. Stay long. And we're going to lift up. Sits bone and pubic bone are rooted. The knee wants to go out and away. That's the way we train to open up through the pelvic girdle as well as through the hips. Walking. Walking, walking, walking. Now notice that I'm not here, right? I still have a lifted chest. My shoulders are still down. I can still do the walking without rolling out in my back. So my left side is always a more difficult place to work. So I really want to be kind to it, but that healthy edge is important. I want to take it to a place where it's a little challenge. It's very challenging. Now point the toe and walk a little bit more. Feel that stretch. The iliac and the iliac, you can really feel the top part of the hip, the iliac, where we put those hands when we have a little man on, right on our hips. Walk back. Yes. Okay. So now I'm going to have you sit there for a minute. Get your weights. We're going to use our weights. And then, but before we go into our weight series, we're going to do some neck stretching. Okay. If you have a ball or you have a towel or a small pillow, I'm going to encourage you to use that. So now you might not be comfortable with this and you don't have to do it, but taking this ball and placing it to the right side of my head, I'm moving my head right onto that ball, bringing it up. It's giving me that same opportunity to feel that length like I do when I do my spine stretches. It's keeping me from crunching too much into my shoulder. And again, one more. Come out of this. Good. To the other side. Take your head down. Inhale. Exhale. Nice and long. So I'm pushing this in to give me the opportunity to get a really nice stretch. Remember, our cervical 1 begins all the way up at the base of our skull. So we have 7 vertebrae before we get to the bottom of our neck. Okay? They're real important. Head weighs a lot. They say 10 to 12 pounds. That's a lot of weight. So these muscles and the scalenes and the scalenes especially, they're tiny. They need work and stretching. Okay. So the other stretch we're going to do is we're going to drop our chin to the chest. We're going to roll to the inside of the right shoulder. You're going to place your hand around your head to where I told you is the beginning of the cervical vertebra, right at the base of that skull. You have your arm wrapped and your nose is towards your armpit. We're going to draw that chin in towards the front of the body here and then release it. And again. You have to be careful if you're doing these at a stoplight, because if you're at a stoplight and you're doing these stretches, somebody might think you're checking your deodorant level. Hand up. Draw it in. And release it. Again. But really, who cares? The world's so crazy, it would be kind of funny, wouldn't it? Okay, so now we're going to do weight work. Find your weights. We're going to start at oh my goodness, I guess a basic weight. If you've been using 5 pound or 3 pound weights for a year and we've been together every week, you need to move it up to at least a 5. Unfortunately, I don't have mine, so we're using my little one. Okay, so long spine, right? All the way up and long. Belly is pulled in, tailbone's tucked under, like you're zipping up those jeans. Put your feet, you want your feet to be slightly apart. Good. So let's hammer curl. Lift it up and down. Good. Other side. Use that breath. So when you're standing, you want to make sure your knees are soft. You never want to have a locked knee. Inhale, exhale. One more to the left. And release. Shoulders roll them out. Roll all the way. Keep rolling. Good. Okay, now let's do a lateral lift. So if you have a 5-pound weight in your hand. You want to make 5 or up. You want to make sure that you're doing your lateral lift with singularly, so each side. If you are stronger and you can support that and you want to do them together, go for it. Okay. So once again, knees are soft. We're going to lift outside, drop it in. So remember, we're always lifting right to the point of the shoulder. So I'm not going up here. I'm stopping right there. So it's a lateral lift. Look at your wrists. Make sure your wrists are straight when you're lifting your weight. Inhale, exhale. Same breath. You want to, whenever you're exerting energy, you want to exhale. Good. Okay. So now we're going to take both the weights and you're going to, keeping your feet flat, your knees are soft, you're going to move them straight overhead. Okay. So you're in this straight overhead position where you're pulling your elbows down. Now, I'm not having you turn out. I'm literally going to keep you here because I'm working a part of your shoulder girdle and your lats and traps differently, keeping your hands straight up towards the ceiling, not turned out. Okay. So press up. So for some of you, it may be more difficult. This might be a movement that you can't take it all the way up straight. So my suggestion is try one at a time, right? If not, you don't want to go halfway, just eliminate it, okay? And that's okay. When you have an impingement or there's a shoulder issue, we can always work from there. And if you have any issues or problems, or you need to talk to me, please, you can call me. Take it down. Now, elbows out. So now my chest is lifted, my ribs are exposed, and my arms are nice and wide, but my knees are soft. Up we go. So I'm literally feeling that the rib cage and the traps, my scapula, everything's sliding the way it's supposed to, up and down. When we were made, we were meant to move. So any movement in your day is so important, not only for as you age forward, but also because it helps your mental health. So the more we move, the healthier we're going to be in all ways. One more. Take it down. Good. And release it. Okay, shoulders roll around. Okay, so legs are a little bit wider. We're going to bend at the knees. That pelvic tilt again. So I like you to always think of this. This isn't a way you would walk around in public, but you can certainly do it here. So when your knees are bent, you pull that tailbone under and pull that belly in so that you're lifting, okay? So this is the position. So we're going to stay here, right? We're going to curl, press up, pull it down and through. So this is a little bit more power if you have a heavier weight. Good. Okay. Arms to the side. Roll out the shoulders again. Okay. So now with your legs wide and your knees slightly bent, you're going to use this position to try to work the back of the arm, okay? So I'm going to turn sideways. My right leg is going to go forward and my left leg is going to go back. I'm going to bend into my right knee and my weight is rested at the top part of my quad. Now I'm going to lean into this as my arm literally just holds the weight here. I'm supported. My right knee is not over my toe. If it is, I've gone too far. I'm going to pull up here and release. So we're trying to get the subscapularis, a lot of the teres minor or major, into your traps, into your scapula. This always reminds me of pulling the string and the starter for a lawnmower. Probably because I did it most of my life. One more. And release. Come up. Let's change sides. So opposite leg back. Remember, you're bending in. Hand is rested. And as I lean here, I'm not going like this. I'm keeping my back straight because then I know that my obliques and my abdominals and everything is still holding this powerhouse strong. And lifting. So you have a muscle that goes from the inserts from the back of the shoulder girdle and from the subscapular down into the traps. It's called the Serratus Anterior. And I'll tell you, that sucker is very important for any movement of the arm into the back, okay? So you want to keep it strong. You want to keep it lubricated. One more. And release it. Good. Okay. So take the weights together. If you prefer a heavy weight, you're bringing them up. Your legs are together. You're going to drop the arms so the weight's coming back. It's lifting. Keep your belly pulled in. Your spine is long. Keep going. Keep going. One more. Now bring the weights forward. Okay. So now the next thing you're going to do is take one weight. We're going to do the tricep brachia again. So you're going to lift it straight up. You're going to bring the arm back. Now notice that when my arm comes back, in order to keep my shoulder in the right position it was meant to be, because there is, remember, this arm, this is a full circumduction. You have the opportunity to go all the way around in a circle. The leg too, believe it or not. Not me. I'm not a ballet dancer. But I think it is, the mention is it's supposed to be able to do that. But your arm, you're always trying to keep this connective tissue here and the connective tissue here open and movable. So when we lift the arm up and we drop the weight back, the elbows to the ceiling, but that weight comes more towards the other shoulder, not like this. You're pulling on your back then. So lift straight up. And again, keep your belly strong, nice and tight. Keep it in. Nice long spine. One more. Bring it all the way back and down. Then bring the elbow up and the weight away. Okay, other side. Take it up. Bring it back. So see how my shoulders lifted and up. One more. Take the arm down and then lift up and take it away. Okay, so I think we made it. This may be